I'm Kriss Harvey with andSons Chocolatier in Beverly Hills, California. Today I'm cooking a raspberry and chocolate pâte on the Breville Polyscience Control Freak. First thing you want to do after you place your pot on the Control Freak is to add the raspberry puree to the pot, set the Control Freak to 100 degrees centigrade, add the thermometer probe to it, monitor the temperature to 50 degrees centigrade. At that point, you want to mix the small portion of sugar with the yellow pectin, and this will help the pectin disperse into the raspberry puree without clogging. So you want to do this gradually and do it in 3 or 4 steps. Maintain that temperature of 50 to 60 degrees centigrade. You don't want to let it drop below that because the pectin will start setting, and the pectin is irreversible. So as you do this, you want to increase the temperature up to about 135 degrees on the pan setting. Keep whisking it. Once all of the pectin sugar mix is added to it, then you want to start adding the sugar gradually. But the first thing I'm going to add to it is the glucose syrup. I'm going to set the temperature to the bottom of the pan to 150 and maintain that for the rest of the cooking. The glucose goes in first. I allow it to dissolve in and bring it back to a rapid boil. And then I add the sugar in 2 additions. And then I go for the final cook, maintaining the temperature probe in the mixture itself and continuing to stir it with a spatula and being very thorough and making sure that it's not overcooking on bottom. Once the temperature reaches 103, which is your temperature you're looking for, you can turn it off, add your chocolate, and with a whisk you want to make sure it is all incorporated thoroughly. Now you can add the raspberry alcohol once that is set, and then finally the acid. But when you add the acid is what gets the pectin to set completely, and your candy is going to be setting very rapidly. So once you whisk in that acid, you want to make sure that you go for the frames immediately and get it framed into the appropriate size frame. I also like to coat the pâte in sugar with a little citric acid. So for every 500 grams of granulated sugar, add about 10 grams of citric acid powder. Of course, this is totally optional, but it brings out the fruitiness of the pâte and the raspberry and kind of cuts that sweetness. You'll see that the sugar candy has a nice texture to it. It's still creamy, it's still very fruity, but it has beautiful tones of dark chocolate and cocoa from that beautiful Elanca 63% chocolate.